Sorry I'm late today. Wyatt had a meeting with his school friends and his teacher that lasted about an hour, and then we had lunch because the kids were hungry. So I'm on live now, and I am late. So if you're not joining me right now, this will be on here later, and this will also be I will upload it to my YouTube channel. So I'm going to wait a couple minutes to see who joins us. And I'm going to look through my books and see what books I want to read today. Hope everybody is doing well. I'm here in Minnesota, and it's really cold today. The sun is shining, and it looks great outside, but you go out there, and that wind is chilly. It's like I feel like it's about 10 degrees. I think it's 30 or something, but it's cold. So, okay, let's see. What books do I want to read today? All right, if you're there, go ahead and say hi so I know if there's any kids watching. My kids are outside, so they're not. Wyatt might come and join us later, but Cammie put her boots and jacket on and headed outside. So they're out there somewhere. We're going to our school later today to pick up a bunch of supplies that their teachers put together, which I'm really grateful for. So thank you to all the hardworking teachers, healthcare providers. The garbage men were here doing their job yesterday, so we appreciate everybody and all the hard work everyone's doing to help each other. My husband's out there every day doing x-rays at nursing homes, and so pray to keep that he will stay safe as he's out helping people too. All right. So I'm going to start by reading Fox in a Box. This is a book that I ordered on a Kickstarter campaign because I just thought it looked really good. I love the illustrations. It's by an author from Canada named Eva Claassen. I hope I'm saying that right, Claassen. Hi, Jake and Addison and Sarah. So it's called Fox in a Box, and the illustrations are by Leanne Thiessen. Okay. All right, here we go. And it's kind of fun ordering from Kickstarter because you get autographed books, which I like. Hi, Lorraine. Oh, you're in Washington, huh? How's it going out there? You guys doing okay? You hanging in there? Hopefully your weather's a little bit better than ours. It's cold here today. In the deep, dark woods down a long, winding road lives a sly little creature with a long, fuzzy nose. I'm going to turn my... Black as night, square as can be, perched on a shelf and bulging at the seams is his box. I love the trees in this picture. Fox loves his box. Fox loves everything in his box. It looks like he likes to collect things like some people I know. Maybe you know somebody who likes to collect things too. He loves his socks, knitted and cozy with spicks and spocks for every occasion, especially long walks. Fox loves his rocks. Smooth and flat, sharp and round in every color that's ever been found. We like rocks in this house too. Fox loves his blocks. For stacking and building and blowing and knocking and the moment before the tower starts rocking. So he has socks, rocks, and blocks so far. This is a great book for rhyming. And don't forget his clocks. With faces and hands, the clicks, the clocks, all with different ticks and tocks. He has a lot of stuff in that box. But before Fox knew it, a pile of things grew into a mountain of stuff, and getting into his box was getting quite tough. Wow, yeah. I even see a book in here. Look at that. Then Fox had it, a brilliant idea. He'd give some of his things to his best friend, Sophia. That's nice. So he has kind of a lot of stuff, and he's choosing to give some of it away to his friend. Perhaps a clock. Fox knew she had none. Oh, look at that. She looks really grateful to have that clock. Blocks to bear since he only had one. The squirrels, he figured, could use all his socks to make warm, fuzzy mittens and perhaps a few smocks. A smock is like an apron. Oh, so he gave his socks to the squirrels and they're using them to make something new. Fox gave and he gave, and in turn he got things that filled up his heart, but not his black box. I wonder what he's getting by giving all of his things away. So because even though he's giving things away, he's getting something in return. Think about what he could be getting in return for giving his things away. Should we find out what he's getting in return? He's getting a smile. He's getting a hug. Tea with a friend. Tears. I don't know. I don't think these are sad tears. I think these are happy tears. A party to attend. With the sun sinking low and a chill in the breeze, Fox hurried back home feeling light and at ease. That means he's feeling very calm and content and happy right now. I wonder what his box looks like now. I wonder if it's a lot less crowded. Fox loves his box even more than before because that's what happens when less becomes more. Isn't that a great book? I just love it. It says that the illustrator is the owner of Paper Canoe, an art and stationery company. Her artwork draws inspiration from living in rural Manitoba and from a childhood filled with camping, canoeing, loving and respecting the outdoors. She's a mother of 4, and her illustrations are often created with her little ones running around or drawing right beside her. Isn't that nice? I love these illustrations. And here's the back of the book. Okay, so again, this book is Fox in a Box by Eva Clausen and illustrated by Leanne Thiessen. Okay, that's one of my favorites that I've gotten before. Okay, so let's do one more. I'm going to read A Different Pond, and this is written by a Minnesota author. It says, this is an unforgettable story about a simple event, a fishing trip for a boy and his dad. Between hope-filled casts, a father tells his son about a different pond in their homeland of Vietnam. On this early morning, a young boy learns of a world bigger than the one he's known. Okay, this is another wonderful book. I bought this one at Lake Country Booksellers in White Bear Lake because, you know, you can never have too many books. Okay, Dad wakes me up quietly so Mom can keep sleeping. It will be hours before the sun comes up. In the kitchen, the bare bulb is burning. Dad has been up for a while making sandwiches and packing the car. Can I help? I ask. Sure, my dad whispers and hands me the tackle box. My kids love this book because it takes place in Minnesota. So there's things going on that they can relate to, but it also teaches you something about other people too. So I think it's just great in both of those ways. Okay, hold it back a little bit so you guys can see better. The street lights look brighter and the roads aren't so busy. Before the sun comes up, Dad turns on the heater and tells me stories. A kid at my school said my dad's English sounds like a thick, dirty river. But to me, his English sounds like a gentle rain. His dad's English must sound different because his dad is from Vietnam, so he has a different accent. We stop at the bait shop on Lake Street. It always seems to be open. You're here early today, the bait man says. I got a second job, my dad explains. I have to work this morning. On a Saturday, the bait man asks. My dad nods. I feel the bag of minnows move. They swim like silver arrows in my hands. I like that. They swim like silver arrows in my hands. That's a simile. So they're comparing the minnows to silver arrows. It's still dark when we get to the pond. We park the car and climb over the divider between the road and the trees. My dad holds my hand and walks ahead through the tangle and scrub. Step where I step, he says. I'm thinking about what Dad told the bait man. If you got another job, why do we still have to fish for food, I ask. Everything in America costs a lot of money, he explains. I feel calluses on his hand when he squeezes mine. So this isn't something different. We go ice fishing for fun in my family. We don't need the fish. We just like it. I'm reading a book. I'll be out in a few minutes, honey. But he actually ice fishes because they don't have enough food. Sometimes a Hmong man is at the pond. He speaks English like my dad and likes to tell funny jokes. Sometimes there's a black man there too. He shows me his colorful lure collection. This time it's just me and my dad. It's a little bit cold. I rub my hands together, yawn, and look up to see faint stars like freckles. Can you pick out the simile on that page too? What is he comparing the stars to? He's comparing the stars to freckles. I like that. As Dad sets up in a clearing, I gather small thin twigs for a fire. They need to be dry and clean. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 10 more for later. I put some rocks in a circle and set up the twigs like a volcano, Dad reminds me. I set one end of each twig down, the other up, leaning them in so they can rest against each other and hold each other up. I get it to light with just one match. Dad nods. So now he's comparing the fire to what? Does anyone remember what it said? Like a volcano. So set the fire up, like set the sticks up like a volcano. That's a good simile, so you know what shape to put them in so that you can start a fire easily. You want to put a minnow on the hook, Dad asks? I want to help, but I shake my head no. I don't want to hurt that little fish, even if I know it's about to be eaten by a bigger one. That's how I feel when I go fishing sometimes. My dad smiles. He isn't upset with me. Dad hands me a sandwich, cold bologna between 2 pieces of bread. Careful of the spicy stuff, he says. There's half a peppercorn like a moon split in 2, studded into the meat. Another simile. He's comparing a peppercorn to a moon split in 2. I used to fish by a pond like this when I was a boy in Vietnam, Dad says, biting into his sandwich. With your brother, I ask? He nods, then looks away. Dad tells me about the war, but only sometimes. He and his brother fought side by side. One day, his brother didn't come home. The bobber dips in the dark and Dad pulls. Got one, he says, almost shouting. A crappie, and soon another. Can I help, I ask? He nods, and I use 2 hands to help guide the fish into the bucket. The fish feels slimy and rough at the same time. Dad laughs at the funny face I make. Dad smiles, his teeth broken and white in the dark because we have a few fish and he knows we will eat tonight. Time to go home. Dad must get ready for work. He washes his hand with a small nub of green and white soap. Then I do the same. I look at the trees as we walk back to the car. I wonder what the trees look like at that other pond in the country my dad comes from. By the time we get home, the sunlight coming through the windows is just a faint tint, blue and gray instead of gold. At home, Mom looks tired, but she smiles at the fish in the big white bucket. My dad changes his clothes and gets ready to go to work. He pats me on the back and says to Mom, our boy did a good job with the fire today. You learn so quickly, Mom says. Then she asks me to help with the fish before she has to go to work too. I'm sad that Dad must leave, but not too sad. I know that later on they will both come home. Look after your brother, Mom reminds my brothers and sisters. She means me. Then she gets on her bike and goes to work. Today, when we are all home, Dad will put the rice in the cooker. Mom will fry the fish on both sides until they are crispy. I will bring out the jar of fish sauce that has flecks of chili pepper and carrots floating on top. At the table, my brothers and sisters will tell funny stories. Mom will ask about their homework. Dad will nod and smile and eat with his eyes half closed. Good fish, he will say to me. And I will smile and nod, and later, when we sleep, we will dream of fish in faraway ponds. Then in the back, I love when authors do this. In the back of the book, he has pictures. This is the author. This is the author and his father. And this is the illustrator and her with her brother. So it says, this is about the author. My family came to Minnesota from Vietnam as refugees from war in 1975. I was just a baby when we fled and the youngest of 6. My father was a soldier, but not a high-ranking officer, and my mom had worked at the snack shop in a school in Saigon. We lived in the Phillips neighborhood of South Minneapolis, and we didn't have much of anything. Both my parents worked multiple jobs to survive and support us in a country whose people did not understand why we were here at best, and blamed us for the aftermath of the war at worst. My father would sometimes take us fishing with him before the sun came up, but for food, not for sport. So that means they had to go fishing for food, and they didn't do it for fun. I mean, they had to do it. I was much less appreciative of this experience than the little boy in the story, but now that I am a father myself, I wanted to honor the struggle of my parents. I also want to acknowledge that they sometimes told me difficult stories about the war and where we came from. My parents shared these stories with me not to scare or harm me, but because they were a part of our lives and they wanted me to understand. I hope I don't say this, I hope I don't butcher this too much, but the author's name is Bao Phi, was born in Vietnam and raised in the Phillips neighborhood of South Minneapolis. He is an author, poet, community organizer, and a father. So this is him when he was little, and this is his dad, and that's who the story is about. And then this is about the illustrator here. She was also born in Vietnam and grew up in California and New York. She draws and writes and teaches. Okay, so again, this is a wonderful book to read to your children and talk to them about. There's lots of things you can discuss with this book. Again, it's called A Different Pond, written by Minnesota author. Okay, I think I'm going to read one more book and then do a little bit of math, and I'm going to sign out because we're going to head out to our school pretty soon. Okay, the last book I'll read today is But No Elephants by Jerry Smath. And this one looks a little worn around the edges because this is a book that I had when I was a kid. And I've read it, copyright 1979. I was 1. That's not when I was like 10 or anything. So I wasn't that old when this was written, but still, I've had this since I was a child. And it's one of my favorite books that I've had. Grandma Tildy lived all alone. She worked hard every day, no time to play. One day a man came to her house. He was selling pets. Would you like to buy a canary bird? Asked the man. Very well, said Grandma Tildy, but no elephants. Grandma Tildy was cooking stew. The bird wanted to help, so he sang a song for her. It made Grandma Tildy happy. Oh, so the bird is helping. He did one little thing, sang her a song, and that made her happy. That night they sat down to eat the stew together, and it tasted better than ever before. The next day, the pet man came again. Would you like to buy a beaver? He asked. Very well, said Grandma Tildy, but no elephants. Uh-oh. Grandma Tildy needed firewood. The beaver wanted to help, so he cut the wood with his sharp teeth. That night, they sat in front of a warm fire. So they each did something to help around the house. Love it. Grandma Tildy went shopping. She met the pet man again. Would you like to buy a turtle? He asked. Very well, she said, but no elephants. How is the turtle helping her out? Is he giving her a ride with all of her stuff? That's a strong turtle. Grandma Tildy was tired. The turtle wanted to help, so he carried her home on his back. That night, Grandma Tildy washed the turtle and put him to bed. The next day it rained hard. The roof started to leak. Then someone knocked on the door. It was you-know-who. I wonder what kind of pet she can get to help her fix the roof. Can you make a prediction at what kind of animal could help her fix the leaky roof? Oh, look at this. Would you like to buy a woodpecker? The pet man asked. Very well, said Grandma Tildy, but no elephants. Oh, look at the woodpecker. He nailed the roof down tight and the dripping stopped. So they each have something that they're good at. The canary is good at singing, so she helped by singing a song. The beaver is good at carving up wood, so he chopped up some firewood. And the woodpecker is good at tapping, so he tapped in some nails. That night they all danced together in the warm, dry house. The days got colder and colder. Grandma Tildy put food in jars for the winter. I don't like the cold, she said. Just then the pet man appeared. Would you like to buy an elephant? He asked. He's the only animal left and I must leave before it snows. No, shouted Grandma. No elephants. And she went back to her work. The pet man left. I don't think I want an elephant in my house either. But the elephant stayed. Oh no, look at him out there. It started to snow and it kept on snowing. And snowing and snowing and snowing. No elephants, said Grandma Tildy. But the elephant would not go. I wonder what she's going to do. They could see the elephant now, and they could hear him crying. Oh, they felt sad. He's crying. Very well, said Grandma Tildy. You may come in. The elephant was as happy as could be. Oh, my goodness. How is he going to fit in that house? But the elephant had a problem. He could not get through the front door. So they all helped push him inside. Oh dear, said Grandma Tildy. I hope the floor is strong. This is a very old house. Outside, the snow kept falling, but inside the house was cozy and warm. Everyone hoped winter would go away and spring would come soon. Does that sound familiar? That's how we kind of feel at this house right now. That night, there was a terrible crash. Uh-oh. The elephant had fallen through the floor. We cannot fix this, said Grandma. You will just have to stay there. The winter was long, and soon the firewood was gone. The elephant was very hungry. He kept eating. And eating and eating until the food was gone. We cannot leave or we will freeze, said Grandma Tildy. We cannot stay or we will starve. What are we to do? Can you think of what they should do? What could they do what could the elephant do? He hasn't done anything to help yet. In fact, he's kind of only hurt things. He crashed through the floor and he ate all their food. So I wonder what the elephant could do to help them out. The elephant felt sorry. Then he thought of a way to help. He started to walk. This is what I wish we could do right now. He walked and walked and walked and walked. When he stopped, they were in a warm, sunny place. Oh, doesn't that look nice? And that is where Grandma Tildy and her friends are today. It says, welcome elephants. Yeah, I agree. If I were her, I would not want to leave. That looks like a great place. Well, we can't walk somewhere. Well, maybe you can, depending on where you live. We're in Minnesota. We can't walk anywhere warm today, but we can think of some ways to help around the house. What are you good at and what can you do to help out today? If you are good at cleaning and organizing, you could clean something. You could organize something. Can you, if you're good at dancing, can you put on a dance for your family? We had a dance party yesterday at my house. If you're good at playing the piano, maybe you could do a little concert for your family. If you're good at reading, maybe you could read a story to your family or to your little brother or sister. If you're good at art, could you maybe, the other week my daughter did a bunch of art and she opened up a little art museum and we all went through and we all looked at her art. My son likes to play Legos and that makes everybody happy. So if you enjoy Legos or blocks or games or anything like that, think of something fun you can do in your house or outside that you could do with your family to make your family members happy. if you're like me and you like getting rid of things, you can do some decluttering. That means you go through your stuff and you think about maybe you can give something to somebody else who doesn't have as much as you. And just like fox in a box, you can feel better because you will have less things and somebody else will have more. Maybe you're good at cooking or baking and you can think of something yummy that you can cook or bake with your parents or whoever's taking care of you. So think about what you're good at, just like the animals in this book, and maybe pick one thing that you can do today. If it's something simple as saying hi because you're good at being friendly, saying hi and smiling to a neighbor. I love the idea of going outside and going for a walk and drawing and writing messages on your neighbor's driveways. So I think we're going to do that today. So I hope you guys have a great day. Think of something you can do to be kind and spread around that kindness today, because one little act of kindness from you can really change somebody's day. Okay, I'm not going to be on here this weekend, but I'll be back on Monday. All right, goodbye, everybody. Have a good weekend. Oh, you know what? I didn't do any math. I totally forgot. Sorry. Let's do some math. Okay, let's see. What kind of math should we do today? Let's see. Okay, level 1. Sorry about that, guys. I almost signed off without doing any math. Now I just have to think off the top of my head what kind of math I'm going to do. I think I'll just do some simple story problems today. Okay. Grandma Tildy had 4 animals in her house, and 3 more animals came. How many animals does she have in her house right now? If you're still watching, go ahead and chime in with what you think the answer is. So this would be an addition problem. So we're started with 4 animals and we're adding 3 more. So altogether there are 7. How can you do this without drawing a picture? Well, if you know your doubles facts, if 3 plus 3 is 6, then 4 plus 3 must be 7. Okay, let's go to level 2. Uh-oh, I hear footsteps. The natives are getting restless. Okay, Grandma Tildy had 12 animals in her house. 15 more animals came. How many animals are in her house now? Hi, want to come in and do some math real quick? You can solve the problems on the whiteboard for me. You haven't come down for a long time. I know. I forgot to do my video today. Can you solve this problem for us? This is plus. Yep, she had 12 animals and then 15 more animals came. How many animals are there altogether? Okay, now explain to the people how you got 27. This plus this equals 7 and this plus this. Okay, so Wyatt did 10 and 10 is 20, 2 and 5 is 7. Good job. All right, Wyatt, let's do level 3. Ready? Grandma Tildy had 23 animals in her house. 27 more came. How many animals are in her house now? And again, if you already know the answer, think about how many different ways you can solve this problem. Wyatt got 50. Okay, how'd you get 50? Because this plus equals 10. So you add this onto this now equals 3, and this plus 3 is. So Wyatt did 3 and 7 is 10, and then 10, 20, and 20 is 50. So altogether the answer is 50. Where are you going? Outside. You're going outside again? Okay, you have a jacket to wear? No, I'm not going outside, just outside of the school. Oh, okay. All right, here's the next problem. Grandma Tildy had 58 animals. 75 more animals came. How many animals does she have now? How many animals does she have now? I wonder how many different ways we could solve this problem. I always tell my students at school, solve it in 2 ways and see if you get the same answer both times. If you do, your answer is probably right. So I'm going to do 50 plus 70. Well, I know that 5 and 7 is 12, so 50 and 70 is 120. Then I'm going to add the ones, 8 plus 5, which is 13. Then I'm going to add this up, and I got 133. Anybody else get that? Let's see, what's another way that I could solve this problem? I could use compensation, which means changing one number, or I could use transformation, which means changing both. So, I think I'm going to take 5 from this number and put it over here to make this number a friendly number. So if I take 5 from this, that changes that to 53. And if I put the 5 over here, that makes this 80. And 80 plus 53 is 133. Look at that, I got the same answer both times. Okay, let's do one more. And again, your parents at home, you can give your kids a few of these every day just to get that math brain working a little bit. And again, like I said yesterday, you don't need to show your kids how to do these problems. Make them figure it out. I love frustrating my kids and challenging them. Tell them a story like, you have $67, you earn 59 more. How much money do you have now? And then just leave. Otherwise, you'll be tempted to give them hints. Trust me, it happens to me all the time. Just leave and say, I'll come back in 5 minutes and see if you've solved this problem. And tell them if you did it one way, see if you can figure it out a different way and see if you get the same answer 2 ways. So 60 and 50 equals 110. 7 plus 9 is 16 for a total of 126. And I'm going to take 1 from here and put it on here to make that 60. 66 plus 60 is 126. Look at that. I got the same answer 2 ways, so I know it must be right. All right. You guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Goodbye. These are all on my YouTube channel, by the way. The link is on this page. Thanks for tuning in.